everyone, welcome back to another moon update. We do have a full moon today happening in the sign of Aries. So last moon cycle, we talked about the moon we were having then, which was the new moon in Virgo. So that energy was all about noticing the small details, being able to really pick up on those things so that we could create a plan to set ourselves up for success. It was a time that may have called for us to be able to see in the dark, really be observant, really be vigilant, and suss out all of the little details so that we can, reorganize things as needed, readjust. So now, with this full moon cycle, it's time to put those things into action. That's what this energy is really supporting us to do. So when I think about Aries, I think about the sun. And I know Mars rules Aries, and we will talk about that in a moment, but I definitely think about the sun when I think of Aries. And sun energy is like healthy ego energy, I would describe a healthy ego to be a person that has a healthy sense of self, that is self-assured, that is confident, that doesn't feel inadequate or inferior, someone that understands their own needs and knows how to meet them, someone that, has strong boundaries, that knows how to protect themselves, protect their space, protect their energy. Our sun energy is our truest, most authentic expression. It can also be seen as our spirituality, as the spiritual path. It's the ability to have authority, our will to exist. It's a very masculine energy. And so is Mars. Mars rules Aries, and it rules men, masculinity, how we move, what actions we take. Mars energy also talks about sexual desires and anger and how we cope with those energies. And Aries is the first sign on the zodiac wheel. So it's considered the baby of the zodiac. And when you think of babies, babies shit where they sit. When they're hungry, they cry. When they're hungry, they need to eat, right then and there. Everything needs to stop for the needs of a baby. They can be very demanding, right? But that kind of energy is expected of a baby because we understand that that's just the point in development that they're in. That's something that gets cultivated over time, that matures, as long as that energy isn't stifled. It's an energy that will develop. So it kind of speaks of the process of learning how to have control over yourself. Because if you don't have control over yourself, if you just always act on those instincts, on those impulses, and want to jump face first into things without really deliberating or thinking things through, you can see how you can get yourself into hot water and how that energy can be a little risky. So it's being able to eventually have the ability, have the agency to be able to choose wisely, to know that you shouldn't shit where you eat, And I mean that in both the metaphorical way and as well as even literally. If you have to take a shit, you're not going to just pull your pants down and take a dump right in front of everyone in the living room. You have to get yourself up and take yourself to the bathroom. It's obviously an example, but I'm sure you guys get what I mean. Once that Mars energy really matures, it's an energy that considers others and that's meant to protect, that's meant to defend. So these energies are really talking about that masculine energy, that solar energy, that yang energy. And this energy is actually one of the hardest energies to really cultivate. Because if you think about it, yin energy can be classified as being very passive. So it's you're home, but the lights aren't on. You're not free to be your truest self, to let your truest self shine forth because of whatever reason. There could be many reasons for this. That's a conversation about trauma and, building harmful patterns, being diluted in some way or stifled in some way. But what that does is that it puts us in this state of being really passive and just doing what's socially expected or what was modeled to us, what quote unquote everyone does, the norm, and sticking to that, sticking to whatever that is and following the trends. And I just really quickly want to make a point that on the spiritual path, we do often talk about needing to surrender, but this is different. Surrendering and just being passive and not being present, an active participant in your life and being sovereign and making choices from a place of awareness and wisdom, that is not at all what's meant to be sacrificed when you're told to surrender. We do need to be home and the lights do need to be on. And we need to know that we do have choices that we can exercise. And it's having the power, being in the position to be able to make those choices and to choose wisely, to truly be choosing for ourselves. And that's the reason why this yang energy is one of the hardest energies to cultivate, because it requires having to go against the grain. It's going on that path of self-discovery so that you can find your highest, most truest path. It's being able to build success from a spiritual perspective versus from a material one. So this energy is really, asking us to take a look at any areas in our life where we may be stuffing anything down or trying to play small or trying to hide certain parts of ourselves to keep others comfortable maybe. This is an energy that's really asking us not to be a doormat, not to be, codependent or too passive, because I think there's like this misconception sometimes that people think that that's what a spiritual person is supposed to be. It's like they're supposed to just be super passive and, they're not supposed to raise their voice. They need to stay quiet and always be the bigger person and always be taking these hits and always be making up the difference for other people's, lack or inconsistency. The spiritual path is not about erasing your own identity. It's about having the strength, having that courage to openly and freely be who you are, to know what your needs are and to know how to meet them and to know how to make healthy choices that truly resonate with you and that is going to cultivate and build a healthy environment that is supportive of your path, whatever your natural duties are. It's not about people pleasing or trying to keep appearances. This is actually how we become a shell of a person and how we'll never learn to meet our own needs and always be codependent, which is the total opposite of like spirituality and enlightenment and being on path. Sorry, I need to take a drink of water. I felt like I was losing my voice there for a second. I feel like I'm losing my voice almost, which I don't know why I would be losing my voice. But anyway, this energy, it's really like all about knowing ourselves and being strong within ourselves and understanding our values, having boundaries that protect our values, that help us stay true to those and being able to uphold that, not lying to ourselves or denying ourselves of the right to do that. I just noticed that I haven't pulled any tarot. I'm just like on a roll here, but I am going to pull some cards to see if anything else comes through. But that's funny. I just realized like my table is just bare, no cards, and my candle isn't even on. Oh my goodness. Where am I right now? Where am I? There we go. I've actually been like feeling really hyper and going like a mile a minute. So I just like pressed record and went because I've been thinking about this energy all day. But yeah, I feel like something that we do need to talk about when it comes to that Mars energy, since it's something that does represent like anger, is being able to express ourselves, I feel like if we're able to express ourselves, like for example, be able to voice when something is bothering us before it like builds up and you explode, So again, it's like having that control and not just exploding. Because if you do have a healthy ego, then you are able to express yourself and express your needs, express your boundaries. And so there's no need for things to get volatile. So that's another thing that I feel that we're being called to really look at is how we handle those types of emotions like anger or built up resentment. Just, to be very direct and to be able to protect ourselves and stand up for ourselves and have the courage to do that and really build that up. Because of course it's nice when we have, people that love us, that are around us, that protect us, that do that for us. But we also need to know how to do it for ourselves. It's kind of like when you think about the traditional role of men towards women. They're meant to defend and to protect, they're naturally bigger and stronger than us. But if that Mars energy isn't cultivated in a healthy way, or again, it's like stifled for whatever reason, and it doesn't really develop, it can come off as overly aggressive or possessive and can even inflict pain and be dangerous. So we have to understand that this is a very strong energy. So it matters in the way that we use it, that we project it forward. because, this Mars Aries energy does have that tendency to be selfish. Again, it's like an underdeveloped, immature expression of that energy. It's supposed to know how to protect, but it doesn't. And so the way that it protects can be warped. Or if there's like a lack of control, it can be hurtful or dangerous. Whether it comes out as physical aggression, abuse, or even not being able to control our lower natures, our sexual desires, which therefore causes us to choose in an unwise manner in that way as well. So there's definitely a lot that ties into that energy. That's kind of like all the thoughts that were swirling in my head today when I was tapping in. I've been tapping in since last night. And then the second I woke up, all of this just came. But let's pull some cards. Let's see what comes out. Let's see what's coming up for this collective full moon in Aries. What would Spirit like to communicate to us, to those of us that are here tuned in, open and ready to receive the messages? All of the cards fell on the floor, so give me a sec. I've been feeling myself like being more aggressive too. It's so funny. Like yesterday when I was cooking, I felt like I was throwing everything around and I don't know. I just had this more aggressive energy to me. But I try not to read too much into it because, I don't know, I'm kind of like back and forth with the whole astrology thing. Like I don't want to know every little thing, every little transit, because I don't want to like lock myself into anything or like manifest these things for myself, you know what I mean? Like if there's a certain transit or like a certain energy and then like you manifest something that relates to that, I'm a little weary of that, because I love astrology and it's such a useful tool and it has been such a big part in my development, my spiritual development, my journey has helped me make so much connection. But ultimately, I do think that it's something that needs to be like transcended, And it can be really useful and really like eye-opening and, for us to study. And like it does work, but I always get like stuck on this part of I don't want it to influence my life. I don't want to be locked into it, like locked into its influence. So it's like I'd rather not even know. But then I get the thought of like, well, am I being dumb perceiving it that way? Because I am just like a human on this planet. So it's going to affect me and influence me either way. So I might as well know what's happening. And, is it something that can be transcended? Like, is that even possible? So I don't know, I have questions. So if you have any insight, feel free to share them. So let's take a look at these cards. Whoa, this is kind of like a really intense spread we have going on here. So it's talking about like a heartbreak at work, like just being in really destructive, chaotic energy of just always in competition, trying to one up people, not really vibing with the people that you work with, that you have to deal with on a very consistent basis. I just don't see like a very harmonious situation here. I'm seeing like backstabbing, cutting people down, competition, just like really destructive energies around. And we do have to be careful with that, because Mars energy, if it gets out of hand, if it gets out of control, it can be very destructive and it can be dangerous. So unfortunately, this is kind of like the lower vibrational Mars energy that's showing up here. And I feel like it's being able to see that this isn't who you are. Some people are just like, well, this is just who I am. And this is how I operate. And this is my temper and deal with it, and because you have that kind of energy within yourself, then you resonate with people that also have that energy and that also bring that. And I don't know, there is just a lot of like codependency and unhealthy, toxic relationships and dynamics, and really needing to clean this up because this isn't you. Spirit is saying like, this isn't you. This is you trapped by all of those negative beliefs that are hard-grained, that exist in our subconscious, that we're unconsciously manifesting because it's things that we haven't dealt with, that we haven't looked at. And we're not taking right and proper action because we don't even know how. The actions that we are taking they're just keeping us in this really destructive pattern, loop, that's going to keep breaking our heart and that's going to keep disappointing us. And you're really never going to be happy in this place. You're never going to find peace in this place. So again, that phrase that I said from the last moon cycle of insanity is the definition of doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting to get different results. Because I see here that there's like a strong want and need for, things to be cooperative and reciprocal and harmonious, and for things to feel good, for things to feel comfortable, for the relationships to be healthy. But it's like the lens we're looking through, or the way we're handling things, the actions we're taking, the way we're engaging, what we're supporting, like the energies we're supporting to be around us, it's like it's never going to give you that feeling of inner peace that you're looking for. So it's being able to see this clearly, and to tap into that sun energy, to tap into your sun energy, and to know that you have what it takes. You're strong enough, you're capable enough. You have the willpower to make different decisions, to clean things up. And it is going to require you to have to walk away from certain things, and to maybe potentially have difficult, harsh endings. But it's either that, or you stay where you're at. You stay stuck and stagnant, and it's like you stay somewhere knowing that it doesn't feel good anymore. It's like you stay somewhere knowing that you hear the call, you hear some kind of higher power telling you it's time for a change. It's time for you to make a difference. It's like you have this awareness to know that you do need to make changes, but it's like just not answering to that, not meeting life where life wants you to meet it, not doing what you are being guided to do. If you were really listening to your highest truth, and we're connected, and we're being truly authentic. And again, like I said, this is a very difficult energy to cultivate. This isn't something that you're just gonna like overnight have. Maybe some of you guys are lucky and you just naturally have that confidence and that air to you, and you're just, were raised in a really healthy home with healthy parents that allowed you, that safe space to develop in a healthy way. But some of us, didn't have that, don't have that. Excuse me. Yeah, some of us didn't have that. So I'm like losing my voice. It's crazy. I've been fine all day, but I'm definitely going to make myself a nice hot tea after this. I'm thinking, like, did I scream a lot today? Did I talk a lot today? Maybe. Me and my kids were definitely playing a lot earlier. We were playing hide and seek, so we probably did scream a lot. But anyway, it's just like right now you're being called to, it's like reality check, Take a good look at what in your life is like at a stalemate. It's like you can't keep growing this. You can't succeed in the way that you want to. It's like you've reached a plateau, and a decision does have to be made. It's like you're reaching a crossroads basically. And it's like, are you going to be strong enough to cultivate yourself, to cultivate the sun energy, to really tap into that, and to learn how to be self-efficient, how to be able to do things yourself, like not rely on anyone else to make any decisions for you, but like to truly be strong within yourself and go on this path that is requiring you to have like a strong self-focus and to prioritize your individuality and learning how to deal with things yourself. Because whoever it is that you're relying on or that's relying on you, it seems very toxic, very unhealthy. And I think it is codependent. There is a codependency here, maybe from both sides, from you, from others, but it's like everyone is kind of like relying on each other and keeping each other in these loops and these unhealthy patterns and dynamics. And no one here is progressing as long as this is the energy that you're all like in. Everyone here needs to learn how to do it themselves on their own, needs to be able to take wise action, right and proper action, to have like a high morality, to do the right thing, to know how to stay truthful, how to act in ways that's aligned with your internal truth. Because this energy is what's going to bring you this love, this peace, this harmony. You have to feel at peace inside. You have to cultivate that. You have to feel like you're on your path. You're living your purpose. You're living your truth. This is dharma, our natural responsibilities, our natural duties. It's just like a calling. And it's when we can cultivate ourselves and be strong within ourselves that we can have the courage to go down that path. We know the actions we need to take that are aligned with what it is that we value, with what it is that is our truth. This is what brings you a sense of peace and being able to like surrender to this, to what life brings, And right now, life wants you to face something and wants you to really like build yourself up and get strong within yourself. That's what that Aries energy is all about too, that I am energy, where it's like what you're going to tolerate and what you're not going to tolerate. You have your boundaries. You're able to uphold them. You're strong. Like, you're not willing to negotiate your authenticity anymore, to erase any parts of your identity. You're staying true to yourself and surrendering to that, to your truth, to your highest truth. And that does take like a level of trust, right? But you have to be optimistic. You have to know, like, no matter what happens, I know that this is what I'm being called to do. So I'm going to trust that harmony awaits, peace awaits. If there's anything that I can be sure of is I know as long as I am on my dharmic path that I'm going to find happiness. Like, I don't need to know the details of anything else. I know this is the way. So it's like, going for it and learning how to have peaceful relationships. You know what I mean? Like, whether it's one-on-one romantic situations or friendships, it's really like experiencing something that's pleasant and harmonious in that space. So yeah, relationships came up quite a bit. It's cleaning up these relationships that we have that may not be good for us, that are very like not genuine, they're not pure, they're not genuine. No one here like cares about each other. No one here considers like another person truly loves anyone. It's just a bunch of like, I feel like everyone's just trying to get their own needs met by like relying on other people to like help them meet those needs. And it's not working. Like, it's not working because I don't think no one looks to be happy in this situation. So let's see, let me pull an oracle card or a few oracle cards. We'll see what I'm feeling. Compassion. We have compassion. I feel like you have to be compassionate towards people because I feel like people are trying their best. Everyone tries from where they're at. People can only give from their level of awareness, from where they are on their journey. So it's like just understanding that life is very, nuanced, and just giving people grace and having compassion, not viewing these people as like demons, and like the devil. And it's like these people are wounded, they're hurt, they need to heal, they need to work on themselves. They have work to do, and just like kind of understanding that and having compassion for them instead of like cutting them down and fighting them and engaging them. It's like just wishing them well, like wishing them well on their journey, but like moving away from it because it's not good. It's not good energy. But it doesn't mean that these people are bad people. And it's being able to see that and having compassion, and also having compassion for yourself. And then we also have the shadow energy here. So yeah, like lots of shadow work needs to be done. There's this Carl Jung quote I'm thinking of that says, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." So it's being able to dip down to the subconscious, to what's in the shadows, and to do the work on yourself. Because if this is resonating for you and you are finding yourself in this kind of situation, it's like you're also contributing to it. You know, you're allowing yourself to be in the situation, you're staying here. There's things you can be doing too. Maybe you need to be that person that like sets things off, that jumpstarts things, that starts speaking some truth to these people, if not just to yourself, you know, just by you taking different actions and moving in a different direction. Maybe you're teaching these people just by that. And maybe you don't even have to have some conversation or try to help them or try to like impart some level of wisdom to help them see. If you have the opportunity to do that and you care enough and it's not draining to you or your own process, then of course it's telling you to do that. But most importantly, it's telling you to do it for yourself, to like take these things that we've talked about today into consideration and really reflect and know that you are in control. You do have a choice, and working out everything you need to work out within yourself to be able to make these choices for yourself. So just give yourself time to process, to see your way forward, but just know that there are things that you could be doing. There are actions that you could be taking. So if you don't know what these actions are, if it's not clear for you yet, don't be discouraged. You know, it's all a process. Stay in process. I'm going to pull like 1 or 2 more cards as last pieces of advice from Spirit before we close out this reading. Look, beautiful change. So we are going through beautiful changes. It's a time of transformation, new beginnings, you know, to just like once and for all cut things out that are not serving. And we have watch your words. So again, how you engage, how you participate, it matters. And then we have sacred contracts at the bottom of the deck. So yeah, like these relationships that you're in, like I feel like they probably are karmic. You're obviously working through some karma here. So just do what you're being called to do. Have the courage to meet life, know that you're a match for it, and, you know, work out whatever it is that you have to work out so that you can reclaim your knowing, your power, your medicine, your healing, your soul wisdom. So just continue to enjoy the ride, stay on path, stay on your process. And the more that you can stay connected to your inner power, the more that you can be graceful, confident, and appreciate your solitude. Because this can be a lonely journey, the quicker you can get there, because you'll be able to nurture these gifts inside of you that will align with your highest truth. These were our messages for this full moon in Aries. Remember, I do also offer personal readings. If you're interested in that, you can send me an email and I'll go ahead and send you all of the details. I would love to connect with you. Thank you guys so much for watching and for being here today with me. I hope to be able to read for you guys again soon. So much love. Take good care of yourselves. And until next time, bye.